Welcome everyone to Frontier. Opening bell is Wednesday, the 5th of October. Quite a whole lot of hard-hitting headlines across our markets this Wednesday. So let's get started from crude oil OPEC meeting, looking at 2 million barrels per day, being pushed by Russia and Saudi Arabia to Nigeria's listing this morning of Caa2 PLC, 2.5 billion ordinary shares at 100 naira per share. We've got a lot to talk about energy space, but a whole lot on the market as well. Global stock markets took a second day of rally yesterday. Nigeria's first trading day. The market here bucked that by 30 basis points to the south. The shares of Zenith Bank fell, as well as International Breweries, one of the largest brewers in the country. And that's NGX. Today is good news already as we're putting this together with the Caa2 Power listing, bringing additional 250 billion naira, roughly $375 million to the table for the Nigeria's market capitalization. The second listing in the year, and of course the NGX is getting the first utility company listed on the exchange in its 62-year history. The BRVM composite fell 17 basis points on Tuesday, the second trading day. The EGX, that the Egyptian stock market, the most watched, still below the 10,000 reading, but up 2.4% on Tuesday. The NSE still looking for an uptick, 126.66, down by roughly 1%. Then you've got the GSE joining the rest of the developed and emerging markets strongly to the upside, 3.25%. Let's take that down. Look up into the East Africa top stories again. The key news is around Kenya. Buying 60%, that's the government of William Ruto, buying 60% of Telecom Kenya after Helios got out of that particular business, now making Telecom Kenya a full state-owned enterprise owned by the Kenyan government. 60% is what is indicated. That goes for about 6.09 billion shillings. And the Kenya Revenue Authority says it's exempting petrol products from the new new excise tax increase. It's a whole long list of tax increases that William Ruto is throwing into the economy and the markets, but fuel is being taken out of that. There was subsidy removal on petrol just a couple of weeks ago, while subsidies still retained on diesel and liquid paraffin. They have Kenya's sugar production down 34% on the back of the elections that we saw just about a month ago, and the factory repairs for the sugar refining companies. And Seychelles on the island of on the Indian Ocean, Central Bank retained interest rate benchmark at 2%. And Fittch has affirmed Sanlam Kenya's at B, while the outlook is stable for the insurer headquartered in South Africa. Okay, take me to Nigeria and the rest of West Africa. I was talking about Caa2 Power PLC listing. That's the big story. Nigeria is one of Africa's and the world's biggest oil producers and a member of OPEC. So today's meeting is very critical for Nigeria when OPEC is looking to cut supply by 2 million barrels per day to move prices up. Brent crude trading early Wednesday at around $91.91 per barrel. That's for the London Brent crude, and the US West Texas Intermediate trading around $86.24 a barrel. That's the story this morning. Nigerian government is predicating its 2023 fiscal budget, 19.76 trillion naira, which will be presented on Friday to the National Assembly by President Buhari on the back of oil. $17 per barrel is Nigeria's benchmark for next year's budget, with a crude oil production output of 1.6 billion barrels per day. That's what the president will be putting forward to the Joint National Assembly early morning. President Buhari's final budget for his 8th year in office. The NNPC, Nigeria State-Owned Oil Corporation, which is now limited liability, says it reported 674 billion naira in net profit last year. That was much higher than about 264 billion, which was reported 287 billion naira reported in the same period of 2020. And Mo Ibrahim, the founder of the Mo Ibrahim Foundation, says it's double standards or hypocrisy on the part of the Western world to ask Africa not to pursue natural gas. News coming in through this morning is that Saudi oil energy minister also saying that the energy transition plan being put forward by European and the Western world is critically flawed. That's been reported early Wednesday. And Ghana's Cocobod has secured $1.13 billion to buy bean for its cocoa next planting season, but no good news as it were when Moody's got Ghana into a further junk territory, CAA2 from CAA1. That's in the news this morning. Get on to the rest of the Pan-African news headlines with South Africa. Eskom energy crisis still there, but South Africa petrol prices, which is good news, will go down effective from today, the 5th of October. 95 octane petrol will be down by at least 1.02 rand. And of course, a few other form of fuel will decline as well. Eskom's chairman says the management of the troubled utility giant will be given benefit of the doubt. The new board of about 12 member board was inaugurated got into office last Saturday. They were announced on Friday by President Cyril Ramaphosa. Now, the chairman of the board says they will give the management of the company benefit of the doubt in their turnaround program. And ABSA says South Africa's Fittch investment has fallen dramatically, while Namibia has gotten EFDB's 34.9, roughly $35 million US dollars to support its COVID-19 recovery program. That is the second phase of support that EFDB is giving to the Southern African community country. Yesterday, the Central Bank of Zimbabwe, that's the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, announced the auction of its FX for the week. The SME FX and the main FX auction, in total about $10.5 million were sold. Average price was 626.1 to the US dollar, Zimbabwean dollar, to one American greenback. That was also publicly disclosed yesterday in announcement by the Reserve Bank in Zimbabwe. So, what's the top stories across the North Africa? Morocco, state deficit up 56% because we got a rising energy cost as well as wheat prices on the back of the war in Ukraine. And of course, we got Egypt's banking sector net foreign liabilities, including that of the Central Bank of Egypt, up to roughly $20 billion at the end of the month of August. While Eastern Company listed on EGX is holding its annual general meeting on the 24th of October and will place before the shareholders an interim dividend of 1.60 Egyptian pounds. And Copper Solutions, which is factoring a subsidiary of EFG Hermes in Egypt, says it's concluded the second issuance of his 2.0 billion Egyptian pounds third tranche securitized bond on the market. That was also in the news as we get the week on the way. I am Wilson Namafaya. Thanks for watching the show. Get back on the line and see what we have online on our Twitter, on our Facebook, on our website, www.frontafricareports.com, as well as all other social media platforms. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.